Hello everyone, and welcome to another tutorial brought to you by the Autodesk 3ds Max Learning channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about the Search 3ds Max command tool found in the Help menu. Actually, I always thought that the name was a handful, so I like to call it Search Box for short. The tool is associated with the X keyboard shortcut, which displays a small text box or indeed a search box window when pressed. From there, you can search for any command you have in mind and find it easily, instead of having to hunt for it in various places. It is particularly useful to find a given modifier in a long list, but can be used elsewhere as well. For example, to build a rock or a boulder, you would typically start with a box or a sphere that you would then edit by adding a series of modifiers. I personally like to use a box because it doesn't pinch at the north and south poles as a sphere does. Either way, this usually means that you use the Create panel to draw the primitive, and then use the Modify panel to adjust its shape. Here, you're likely to use a Spherify modifier first to turn the box into a sphere, then you may elect to add a Turbo Smooth modifier for detail, and finally, a Noise modifier to turn the rounded shape into an irregular one. Not a very hard process if you think about it, but one that could be made easier using the search box. In that context, you can create a primitive by searching for it using the X hotkey. By first pressing X and then typing B or BO in the search box, you get access to the box command without going to the command panel. Similarly, once you have created the primitive, you can add modifiers using the same search process. This is done by invoking the search box again using X, and then typing the first letters of the modifier you're looking for, such as Spherify. Pressing X again would enable you to add a Turbo Smooth modifier, and pressing X one last time enables you to add a Noise modifier. You would still make adjustments in the panel on the right, but the process of adding these modifiers was a lot faster. The search box can also dig deeper into an object's nature, and here's an example. Use the search box to draw a line, and then draw 2 or 3 more lines that intersect one another. With one of the lines selected, use the search box again to find the Attach Spline command and attach all the lines that you have drawn earlier. Right-click to end the command. At this point, imagine that you need to trim the excess of these segments so that you can end up with a clean quad. Typically, you would go into Spline subobject mode and then look for the Trim tool. I don't know about you, but in my case I always have a hard time finding it in the Modify panel. Using the search box, though, you don't need to hunt for it at all. By pressing X and searching for Trim, the search box understands the nature of the selected object, in this case a spline, and provides you with the answer. If you were to try to find the Trim Spline tool on a mesh object, though, you wouldn't be able to. The search tool is contextual, and the results determined by the nature of the selected object. Back to the spline. Note that if you were to go into vertex mode, the resulting vertices are not welded yet. Again, this can be done using the search box instead of the command panel. Keep in mind that the weld threshold still needs to be adjusted in the command panel though. Here's another example of using the search box to save time. Say you want to create a pedestal or a column base. You'd likely start with a 2D shape for a base, such as a rectangle, and possibly a line shape to use as a profile. You may even search for and use the fillet command to round off corners. With the rectangle selected, use the search box to add a Bevel Profile modifier to turn the rectangle into a 3D volume. Contextually, you can add an Edit Poly modifier to make further adjustments, for example by using the Inset Poly function. You may need to further edit the inset options, which you can also search for. You can also further fine-tune the model at a polygon level by searching for tools such as Extrude or Bevel. The examples shown in this tutorial are simple, but demonstrate the ease of use and speed of the search box function. Most of what was demonstrated was achieved using the keyboard rather than hunting for options buried deep in the UI. As you get more comfortable using the search box, you'll find it's a great time saver and a very handy tool to have.